so I don't forget. Oh, it's recording. All right. So let's see. All right, I'm going to share the screen and then I'll go through the whole thing.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Okay. All right, Lena, give me a thumbs up. Can you see the SMART goal? It says SMART goal live lesson number 3. Can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I got a thumbs up. Okay. So we're going to talk about SMART goals today, and everyone's doing actually really good with their SMART goals. There's just a few people who need a little bit of help. But hopefully this will help you improve your SMART goals even more, which will be wonderful. Mm-hmm. And here's my slide to remind me to record. I already turned it on, so we're good. So we're going to start out with, so President Kennedy, he was, I don't know, he was one of the presidents. I don't know what president of the United States, but this is a long time ago. Back in 1961, he was president, and he announced a goal for the country. He announced that America would put a person safely on the moon before the end of the decade. So I don't know. Do you think that was a SMART goal? America would put a person on the moon, safely on the moon before the end of the decade. I think it's a SMART goal. I think he did a good job. Mm-hmm. So many thought that this was impossible, but people were amazed, and he did it. He reached his goal on July 20th, 1969. So he made his goal in 1961, and he said before the end of the decade, 1969 on July 20th, Neil Armstrong, this is a picture of Neil Armstrong, stepped onto the moon surface. Mm-hmm. So JFK, John F. Kennedy, his initial goal was kind of guided and motivated Neil Armstrong's step for mankind onto the moon, which is cool. So goals aren't only just for leaders, they're for everyone. Everyone can make goals. And this is a great example of a SMART goal that was a really famous SMART goal that was made. So we're going to talk about SMART goals today, and I'm going to give you a question that you can ask for each one of these to make sure that you're making it specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So specific, if you can ask yourself, what do you want to accomplish and why, and you can answer that question, then you've made a specific goal. And so, for example, if you want to do better at math, you say, well, what do I want to accomplish? I want to get better at my multiplication tables. That would be something more specific. And why do you want to do this? Well, because you want to do better in your math class. So if you can answer that question, then you probably have something specific. The second one, measurable. Can you tell when you reach the goal? This is one that I think this is one of the ones that people trip up on. Can you tell when you reach the goal? You have to be able to actually be able to measure when you get to the end of the goal. So if you have a goal where you say, I want to do better at math. Well, what does better mean? You can't measure better. But if I want to get 85% on all of my quizzes, that's something you can actually say, I did it or I didn't do it. You can measure it. So being measurable is really important. The next one is achievable. Does this goal stretch you, or can you do it? So if it doesn't stretch you enough, then it's probably too easy. But sometimes we can make goals that stretch us too far, and you make a goal that's kind of impossible to do. So a goal that maybe wouldn't stretch you very far would be saying something like, I'm going to work on my class one day this week. That's not stretching you very far. But something that maybe would be too hard would be to say, I'm going to work on the class for 8 hours every day this week. That's too big. You don't want it to be too small, but you also don't want it to be too big. You want it to be right in between. Most of you guys do a good job at that. Relevant. Does this goal fit in with your other goals? So for this class, we want a goal that relates to this class. So it can relate to studying math, or it can relate to studying English, or it can relate to your finances, tracking your money or your budget or other things like that. The last one is time bound. What is your deadline? For our learning report goals, we want the deadline to be 1 week. So you have that goal for 1 week, and at the end of the week, you see if you do a good job. But any SMART goal needs to have a deadline. Like John F. Kennedy's goal, his goal was that he would meet the goal within a decade. So his was time bound. He said, I wanted to do it within a decade, right? His was specific. He said that he wanted to have someone on the moon. It was measurable. Once someone was on the moon, he's reached his goal. Was it achievable? Well, obviously it was achievable because he did it. Was it relevant? That could be argued both ways. Because that's a more political thing. All right. So that kind of gives you some questions that you can ask yourself while you're going through your SMART goals to make sure that they're actually SMART goals. So why do we do SMART goals? SMART goals have been shown to make you more productive. They can make you 11 to 25% more productive if you make yourself a goal. So it helps you actually achieve more in this class. And it also motivates you. It kind of gives you this spark of, I know what I want to do. I'm excited. I have something to work for. So that's why we're doing SMART goals. It helps you do more. It helps you be more happy while you're doing it too. So, okay, we're going to go through some goals, and we're going to say, is this a SMART goal or not a SMART goal? So I want to be better at math. Give me a thumbs up if it's a SMART goal. Is that a SMART goal? Mm-hmm. Nope, that's not a SMART goal. I want to be better at math. Better, you can't really measure better. Mm-hmm. And so we could do better at writing this SMART goal. Here's a better version of that goal. I will improve my math skills by practicing the multiplication facts with flashcards for 15 minutes each day. That's much more specific. Mm-hmm. It says we're going to improve on multiplication facts. We're going to use math cards. We're going to do it for 15 minutes each day. We can tell if we do it 15 minutes each day, we can measure that and determine if it's been done or not. Okay, how about this one? I will do my best on all of my assignments and turn them in early. Is that a SMART goal? What do you think? No, that's not a SMART goal. I will do my best. Best, you can't really measure. How do you measure best? Mm-hmm. And then turning them in early. When is early? You kind of need to say when early is, right?
Yeah.
So let's see. How can we improve that? We can say what our best is. So maybe your best is getting a 95% on all of your assignments, right? Mm-hmm. And turning them in early is early by Friday, is early by Wednesday. So if you say a specific day, then that's much better, much more specific. So here's a better example. I will submit all of my assignments by Friday. So that tells us when early is, and score at least 85% on all of them. So that tells us what their best is. So that kind of makes it more specific and also easier to measure, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. I will study English more. Not a SMART goal. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's a goal, but it's not a SMART goal. Here's a better one. I will practice my English vocabulary for 30 minutes each day. That's a SMART goal. That's good, but we can actually improve it a little bit more. How about this? I will practice my English vocabulary flashcards for 30 minutes each day. So you're not only saying what you're going to practice, but how you're going to practice it. Mm-hmm. And we can even improve it more. I will practice my English vocabulary flashcards for 30 minutes each day at 6 p.m. So now you're saying specifically what time you're going to do it at. So you make a plan. When you make a plan for your SMART goals, you're much more likely to actually achieve them. And so you'll do a better job on your SMART goals. Okay, how about this one? I will read my scriptures for 30 minutes each day. Is that a SMART goal? Yes, it is. That's a SMART goal. Now, the only problem with this goal, this is a SMART goal. The only problem with this goal is it doesn't apply to our class, because in our class, we're learning English and we're learning math and we're improving our finances, and reading scriptures isn't really an assignment for our class. But if you say, I will read my scriptures in English for 30 minutes each day, then you're practicing English. So that would be a better goal for this class. All right.
Yeah,
All right.
I had a thing like that, like where you asked whether I'm reading the scriptures in English.
Yeah. Are you reading them in
basically,
English?
Yeah, we don't have the scriptures in our language.
What language is that?
Oshuwambo.
Oshuwambo. That is so cool.
Yeah, so we basically just read them in English.
Oh, good. Then you are definitely reading it in English. Okay.
But we have the Bible where they have translated, you know, like in our language.
Yes.
Back home. But I don't have one. Like, I've never read my Bible in Oshuwambo. I know my husband probably might have done that because he had schooling in Oshuwambo. I only had schooling in English, so it's kind of hard even for me to read my own language.